All right, guys, so we're going to pick up with rational exponents. Now, we're going to use the same properties that we used before with the properties of exponents, but the only thing was we just pretty much used whole numbers. Now, since we're dealing with rational exponents, we're going to have the fractions as exponents, but the laws all still apply. So if you need to review those, you can take a look at my video with properties of exponents before taking a look at this one. All right, so let's go with number 1 here. And what we want to do, we're multiplying. See, we're multiplying these powers here. So going back to the properties of exponents, what we do is we add the exponents. So we can do the 3 times the 2, and then it's going to be x to the 1/3 times x. And of course, there's a 1 here because it's not written, but we know there's an exponent of 1. Well, we can easily multiply the 3 times 2 to get 6. And then, like we said, when you multiply powers, you add the exponents. So this is going to be x to the 1/3 plus 1 power. So then our final answer here is 6x to the 4/3, because 1/3 plus 1 is 4/3. And that is the answer for number 1. Let's take a look at number 2. And again, we're kind of doing the same thing, except we have 2 variables now. So we're going to multiply the 3 times the 5, and then we're going to do x squared times x to the 7/4, and then we got y to the 1/2 times y, and I'm going to put the 1 there. So all I'm doing is really organizing everything that we can multiply together, think of it like terms. So then we can multiply the 3 times 5. That's going to be 15. And then we're going to add, so this is going to be x to the 2 plus 7/4, y to the 1/2 plus 1, which is going to give us a final answer of 15x to the 15/4, y to the 3/2. Now, I'm not writing these answers as square roots or radicals, if you will. I'm just going to leave it in this form. That would kind of be like a different lesson in my eyes anyway. So let's look at number 3. So here we have another property. See, now we have a power being raised to another exponent. So think of it as an exponent being raised to another exponent. And what we do there is we actually multiply those exponents. Now we have 2 different terms inside the parentheses, so we're going to have to distribute this exponent to both of these. So it's going to wind up being x to the 1/3 times 3/2. Let me fix that there. And then y to the 3/2 times 3/2. Again, we are multiplying because we have a power being raised to another power. So we are actually multiplying those now. So then this becomes x. It becomes 3/6, which becomes 1/2. And then y to the 9/4 9/4 power. So that would be our final answer there. Let's look at number 4. See, now we're dividing. And when we divide, what we do is we subtract the exponents. So now we have this 4/2, which we can easily go ahead and do that. That's just 2. That's kind of straightforward. It's pretty easy. Then what we're going to do is we have this x squared divided by x to the 3/2. So again, we're going to subtract those exponents. This becomes x to the 2 minus 3/2. And then we're going to do the same thing for the y. So it'll be 1/3 minus 1/4. So again, we divide with powers, we subtract the exponents. So then this becomes 2x. So 2 minus 3/2 is actually 1/2. And then we have 1/3 minus 1/4, which is actually 1/12. So this here is our final answer. So let's take a look at the last problem. So now we kind of have a combination of things here. We have this power being raised to another power, and then we have the product of powers because we got this x to the 4/3 over here. So what I'm going to do is distribute this 2/3, and again we're going to multiply the 2/3 to these exponents because it's a power raised to a power. So I have the x to the 4/3 still there times, so x to the 1/2 times 2/3, y to the 4/3 times 2/3. So now I'm going to go ahead and do this right here. So it's going to be x to the 4/3. Let me fix that for you. I like the way that came out. Times, so then x 1/2 times 2/3 is 2/6, which is 1/3. And then times y, and this is going to be 8/9. So 4/3 times 2/3 is 8/9. So now what are we going to do? Well, we can multiply x to the 4/3 times x to the 1/3. Remember, when we multiply powers, we add the exponents. So this is x to the 4/3 plus 1/3 times y to the 8/9. And then we can go ahead and add that together, which is going to give us x to the 5/3 y to the 8/9. And that is our final answer. So hopefully this will help you with the using the properties of exponents but having a rational exponent. And I just called this a part 1 video because the problems can get more involved, and I'll do that in a separate video. All right, I'll see you on the next video.